Well, welcome to Clubmen 1645, and we're in Sherborne, and it is August the 3rd, 2020. And over there, that is Cheap Street, and that's where the parliamentarian and King's forces fought in 1642. I can't remember which date it was. Anyway, that was the first occupation of Sherborne. But we're here today because we're talking about 1645 and the siege of Sherborne Castle. Now if we come to the museum here, you can just see through the window there's a depiction of the siege in that picture there. 1645, this is where Fairfax troops were stationed and where we sent the orders out to go to Shaftesbury to get the clubmen on the 4th of August. But they sent Cromwell out from here to get the club on the 4th of August. But on the 3rd of August, they sent them up to Castle Hill in Shaftesbury to capture the clubmen leaders. And that is the Abbey Church there. And that is the green there. And if you come around here, the wind's picked up a bit now. So it's be quite windy. But over there is the school behind the church. And that's where the Fairfax and the New Model Army troops were stationed. So we're here today just to have a quick look, peruse around Sherborne, and then we're going up to Shaftesbury, Castle Hill, where Fleetwood was sent out from here, from Sherborne, by Fairfax to capture, encircle the clubmen at Castle Hill on Shaftesbury, August the 3rd, 1645. Right, that's the, we're still in Sherborne, and as I mentioned, we looked at the Abbey Church around the front. This is the school. There's a lot of swifts flying around here at the moment. You see the swifts? They're all flying around everywhere. But this is where the Fairfax's New Model Army were stationed. As I said, this is where the orders were given to Fleetwood to go to Castle Hill and Shaftesbury to capture the clubmen. If you carry on walking down here, just around the corner, around there, that's the church green. And once you get on the church green, you can see the Abbey Church. But there you go. Just a quick look at the school itself. It's a big school, big drama school, arts and such. Yeah, Chris Martin went to the school, that's what I've been told, but there you go. Yeah, keep an eye on the Clubmen website, and we should be going to Shaftesbury after this, just to look at the Clubmen site where Fleetwood, after being sent from here, captured the clubmen on August the 3rd, 1645. Well, welcome back, Clubmen 1645, and we've left Sherborne and now we're at Shaftesbury. And August the 3rd, 1645, the clubmen were gathered around here at Castle Hill in Shaftesbury. We've had to come away from the main top bit with the open space where you can see Mere in Dunkliff, because it's so windy up there, you wouldn't be able to hear me. So this is the old castle point here. As such, this is where the old castle would have been, in this area here. I mean, it went long ago, but as I said, Fleetwood, General Charles Fleetwood, surrounded the clubmen here on August the 3rd, 1645, and with the orders from Fairfax from Sherborne, where we visited earlier. And I'm going to wander out here and just see if I can show you some of the views quickly before the wind picks up again. It wasn't windy 20 minutes ago, now it's picked up again. So, but you can walk all up here. This is the path. I'll go down later on and show you the bottom, actually, because you can look up on Castle Hill. This is the walkway. But as you can see, Castle Hill, but as soon as you come around here, the wind picks up. But that is the views from the top of Castle Hill. You can see Mere. Mere is over that direction there. That's Mere. On July the 25th, 1645, the clubmen met with Thomas Young. And if you come back this way, oh yeah, hello. Right, yes. I can show you some of the views from here, but the wind picks up, so I'll just stop from here. But behind me that way would be Dunkliff. But there you go, August the 3rd, 1645. That is Castle Hill there. It's a nice place to have a picnic. So this is where the clubmen would have gathered, and we're surrounded by Charles Fleetwood and his troop of horse. Right, some summing up, I suppose, is due. We are at the bottom of Castle Hill now. We've left Sherborne, where we discussed the new model army and Fairfax's orders to Fleetwood to come into Shaftesbury and surround the Clubmen here, which he did. And in front of me there, we spoke earlier on, and we're at the top of Castle Hill, and that is the bottom of Castle Hill. And it's a public space, you can visit it. It's well worth a visit. So yeah, Charles Fleetwood surrounded the Clubmen here at Castle Hill, captured the Clubmen here, and took the prisoners, the leaders of the Clubmen, as they were so called, back to Sherborne. The path around here goes all the way around there, so you can follow all the way around the bottom of Castle Hill. But as my partner tells me, this is the 375th anniversary of the Castle Hill capture. So it would also be the 375th anniversary of the Battle of Hampden Hill. So I'm glad to be coming out here today as such to just look at some of these areas, because I'm quite familiar with these areas, as I've been here several times and talked of the Clubmen. But I like to come out here on the anniversaries of these dates just to have a look and see if anything's changed. And there is some change here. This public footpath has been put in, so you can walk all the way around Castle Hill now, and the views from the top, which are quite spectacular. As I said, you can see Mere, and you can see Dunkliff from there, and the Quantocks, and the Glastonbury Tor, if you get a good clear day. But yeah, we're in Shaftesbury, August the 3rd, 1645. Charles Fleetwood surrounded the Clubmen at this area here. Well, welcome to Clubmen 1645, and we are today at Dunncliffe Wood. And August the 4th, 1645, Cromwell arrived here to see the Clubmen. The Clubmen, he noticed some colours flying from the top of the wood there, and a Mr. Richard Newman came down to meet Cromwell, and they talked about the taking of the prisoners, Clubmen leaders that were taken at Shaftesbury on August the 3rd. There's two woods, basically two hills, Dunncliffe Wood. There's one that way and one this way. We'll have a look later on when we walk up to the top. But Dunkliff Wood is between the Shaftesbury and Sherborne on the A30, and you can park your car here. I'll show you the car park. The car park's this way. We're here today because it's the 370th anniversary, and we want to pay a visit to some of these sites. So there you go, that's the car park. You can park your car, as I said, on the A30 between Shaftesbury and Sherborne, and then you can walk up to Dunkliff Wood along the path here. The the Woodland Trust have taken over this site now, and they've done it up a lot. It used to be really muddy up here and quite hard to walk around those woods if it had rained or something. You just couldn't get around it, but now they've made tracks and put all this hardcore down as such, so you can walk up here all around the woods. And we come up here occasionally to look at the ancient limes. There's some really old limes up here which would have been here before Cromwell's time, and they've been coppiced, and you can still see them. They've taken a few of them down now actually, but it's worth a visit, Dunkliff. It's got more popular since COVID. Everywhere's got more popular since COVID. We noticed Clubmen down driving here today was busy. So, but this is the first visit of the day. Dunkliff Wood up there, and as I said, around this way and the other side. But from here we will go on to Hampden Hill after. But I'll get closer to the wood later on, just do another short video. Okay, here we are in front of Dunkliff Wood, Dunkliff Hill, and this is the most ancient bit of woodland in North Dorset, and it was owned by Cambridge University. But the Woodland Trust, as I said, look after it now. But this is where Cromwell met Mr. Newman back on August the 4th, 1645, and they discussed the capture of the Clubmen in Shaftesbury by Charles Fleetwood the day before. But there you go, that is all Dunkliff Wood. Worth a visit, and as I said, the hardcore's down now, so you can visit it all year around. And the ancient limes, as I mentioned, are at the back of that wood, and that I think is the oldest part of woodland. That's the oldest bit of wood.
I think it is.
You can see, yeah, because a lot of those trees are quite new. I think a lot of them were chopped down in the 60s, weren't they?
That's right. Yes, yeah.
So
what defines it as an ancient woodland is the wood. It's the woodland floor.
It's the floor as such,
Woodland
yeah.
floor, isn't it?
So yeah, the floor hasn't been touched as such. I think you can see that's why the ancient limes are there, because they've been coppiced over the years. Yeah, so there you go. This is the first visit today on the 375th anniversary of the Clubmen in Dorset in August. So there you go, Dunncliffe Wood. And we've drove from Dunkliff along the A350 from Shaftesbury to Blandford, and we've parked the car in Child Oakford. And there's an old pathway here in Child Oakford. If you park opposite the nursery, you can walk up this old path here. It's really old because it's very sunken, and this path is alongside Hampden Hill. And if I come up this way, you can also park in Shroton. It's a bit more of a climb up Hampden Hill from that way. But as you know, on August 4th, 1645, the clubmen did battle here with Cromwell's dragoons. And as we come out of this pathway here, we'll park the car on Child Oakford, opposite the nursery. There you go, that is Hampden Hill. And that is the entrance there, which pretty much people think that's where Cromwell tried to enter with his dragoons back on August the 4th, 1645, because it's quite narrow. And there's a record of it, he couldn't get a 3-horse abreast through that entrance, and he sent Gladman, I think Gladman was the first guy to try to get through that entrance, was shot upon, then came back, and there was then they had a messenger, Mr. Lee, which is going backwards and forwards with the clubmen. But there it is, Hampden Hill on August the 4th, 2020, 375th anniversary of the Battle of Hampden Hill. So we shall walk up to that narrow entrance there later on. I'll do a bit of filming, and we've brought the flag with us today. There it is. So we shall fly the flag from the top on the 375th anniversary of the Battle of Hampden Hill. And I don't think we'll film up there because it's so windy. But if you walk down that field there, by the side of those trees, there's a bench, and you can sit on it. And there's a good view of that hill. So if you bring your sandwiches, that is the place to sit. But there you go, Hampden Hill. And this as the pathway, as I mentioned. If you park in Child Oakford, you can walk up this old pathway along the A350 from Shaftesbury to Blandford, and this goes all the way down there. Or you can carry on and park at Shroton and park your car opposite Shroton Church. And I should do some filming from Shroton Church because that's where they were captured. The prisoners captured on Hampden Hill were kept overnight. Okay, as I mentioned, we parked at Child Oakford and we walked up the narrow entrance, and we're in the narrow entrance to Hampden Hill. But I want to stop here and show the sights, because that is Dunkliff, which Cromwell was at earlier on in the day and met Mr. Newman. Over there is Shaftesbury, where the Fleetwood surrounded the clubmen on August the 3rd, and over there is Clubmen Down, and on the other side of Clubmen Down is Compton Abbas, where Thomas Brevel was the vicar, the rector there, who was on Hampden Hill on August the 4th, 1645. And if I walk down here, this is the narrow entrance that Cromwell tried to get his dragoons through on August the 4th, 1645. So Hampden Hill, and we come around here. There you go. This is the narrow entrance, and it's up the top here. But this is where Cromwell sent Mr. Gladman to make the first entry onto Hampden Hill, and he was shot at. But I'll talk a bit more from the top if it's not too windy, otherwise I shall return to the bottom. Here you go, this is the narrow entrance here, and that's your views from the narrow entrance. But this is the narrow entrance, and I want to get to it pretty quick because it's quite windy up here, but the wind's dropped just for this short period of time. There's Sheila Wiggins there from Retro Ain't. Whew. So that is the narrow entrance just there, where Gladman tried to get through originally after orders from Cromwell. Right, welcome back to Clubmen 1645, and we're ending the day on this 375th anniversary at Shroton Church, St Mary's, Shroton Church in Shroton, because this is where the prisoners were kept that were captured on Hampden Hill that day with Cromwell's dragoons, and the clubmen captured were held in this church in Shroton overnight. And they were here all overnight on August the 4th, 1645, and taken to Sherborne as prisoners. If we wander over here, there is Stuart MacArthur's map of the Dorset clubmen, And if you move over here, there's Stuart MacArthur's painting there. And in the middle of that painting are the clubmen. And that guy there, that is Robert Frampton. And Robert Frampton was held in this church on that night of August the 4th, 1645. And there's a biography of Robert Frampton where he mentions Hampden Hill being captured and his sister looking for her 4 brothers. I think it was 4 brothers, and Robert Frampton was one of them, on Hampden Hill at night by lantern because she thought they were dead. I think she was out there looking for her brothers for her father's request. And that was the pulpit there. And from that pulpit, there some say Cromwell spoke to the clubmen on August the 4th, 1645, August the 5th, next day, before he took to Sherborne as prisoners. But yeah, just want to sum up the day. It's Shotton Church and finish it here on the 375th anniversary of the clubmen battle on Hampden Hill.